morning, everyone. Welcome back, or evening, or whenever you're choosing to watch. If you're watching on YouTube or listen. Yep. So, What About Jesus with Gene and Grady? I am Grady.
I am Gene.
And we're so thankful, excited that you're listening to us. Hopefully, gives you a little bit of energy or fuel to get through the day, or a little spiritual awakening. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Whatever you're listening for, I hope you get it.
Hopefully it gives you the tools to fight the good fight.
Yeah. That's what we're here for.
So, Grady, we are coming to the end of our series that we've been discussing from 2 Peter 1, verses 3 through 11, on the virtues that we must add to our faith, because our faith has to be a growing faith, right?
Yeah, correct.
Have you ever shared with your youth group, when Jesus says, have faith of a mustard seed?
Yeah.
How did you approach that? How did they see that as the minimum size of the mustard seed, or what?
I think they use it as a basis of faith a lot of times, especially like a little bit of faith can take you a long way, and a little bit of the right faith will again take you the right way. But I mean, if it's also a testament of what God can do, right, in your life, even if you're faced with unbelievable trials, just a faith of mustard seed can move the mountains in your own life. It can be taken a multitude of different ways. I guess that'd be the way that we're looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, because here's what Peter said in chapter 1 of 2 Peter. He says, His divine power has granted to us all things that pertain to life and godliness, through the knowledge of Him who called us to His own glory and excellence, by which He has granted to us His precious and very great promises, so that through them you may become partakers of the divine nature, having escaped from the corruption that is in the world because of sinful desire. For this very reason, make every effort to supplement your faith with virtue, virtue with knowledge, knowledge with self-control, self-control with steadfastness, steadfastness with godliness, godliness with brotherly affection, and brotherly affection with love. So he says, for if these qualities are yours and are increasing, they keep you from being ineffective or unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. For whoever lacks these qualities is so nearsighted that he is blind, having forgotten that he was cleansed from his former sins. Therefore, brothers, be all the more diligent to confirm your calling and election. If you practice these qualities, you will never fail. So, our faith, the faith of a mustard seed, when you plant it, just doesn't stay right there in the ground.
Yeah.
The mustard seed, as Jesus says, will grow into a big bush, tree, however you want to describe it. Mm-hmm. And so what Peter, I think, he's also thinking about that we must add to our faith. It's got to be a growing faith. It's not about the works, but it's about building our relationship with God. Mm-hmm. And so I hope our listeners, as well as your youth group, can come to understand the importance of a growing faith. And I think they do, don't they? They get that concept of a growing faith.
We push the concept of, look, like, yes, youth group is the time in your life where a lot of the kids choose to put on baptism and make that decision. But one of the big things that we tell them is, look, like, you make that decision, but your faith is really just beginning there. Like, the devil's not going to stop coming after you because you decided to, set your faith in Christianity. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the college football recruiting now with NIL and everything. Like, it used to be, once you were committed to a team, you're pretty much committed to that team. Now, just because you're committed to a team, just because you say, hey, look, I'm going to Ohio State, people can come at you, throw all kinds of money, all kinds of cars, all kinds of deals, and we'll flip college football players' commitments, right? And it's just like there's a quarterback who, he was committed to LSU.
Okay.
He's the number one player in the nation, committed to LSU. Michigan comes in. They're going to pay him $10 million to go to Michigan. He's going to Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Look, just because – that's what we tell the kids. Look, just because you tell these kids like, look, you get baptized, you're good to go. Like, no, like that is not what a commitment to faith is. A commitment to faith, to God, a commitment to baptism is just the beginning. The devil's not going to stop coming after you. He's not going to try and flip your heart just because you're going through the process of getting baptized, and so it's a continued process. Like this is one of the most important times of their faith, because right now we're just building them up so they can take their own faith once they leave high school, once they leave the comfort of their own home. And so hopefully the seeds that we plant here will be able to grow into something really, really special after.
So you could basically say, with that analogy of that LSU player, okay, he left home, he was committed to LSU. But temptations came his way, and Michigan drew him away. Yeah. Okay. So let's say our youth group, our youth kids, they go out and they say, "I'm committed to God." The devil's going to use the world to throw the same things, isn't he? He's going to throw money. He's going to throw fame. He's going to throw insecurities of being a Christ follower and various things to get you to decommit from God, to decommit to LSU, to commit to Michigan.
And so basically you're telling me that Michigan is the devil. That's what you're telling me.
It sounds like it. I mean, if they threw that kind of money, I mean, where's the integrity of a promise? Yeah. You know, that the kid said, I'm committed to LSU. Well, I'm committed to God. Devil throws, hey, you come to our side, you can have $10 million. And, coming from Luke that I'm doing a study with on a Sunday night, we're talking about that rich young ruler. Yeah. He thought it was about doing good things to get eternal life. Yeah. And Jesus says, no, lose the heart to wealth and riches and commit it to God. So here we are in our growing faith, and we're at the very last of all of them. And it's funny how Peter begins with faith and add all these various character qualities, and the last one is love. Yeah. I mean, that's the culmination, isn't it? That every one of us need to understand the importance of love when it comes to following Jesus. Yeah. So how do you define love to the kids, or how do the kids understand love?
It's hard to define love, because you ask someone, What are you willing to give up for someone, right? Are you willing to, for who in your life are you willing to give your life for? And I think that's a question of who do you truly love in this life? Because there's not very many people on this earth that I would straight up give my life for. And Jesus gave his life for everyone. Right. And so you think that, and is an analogy that now I use a lot, and an example that I use a lot, and it came from one of Kevin's sermons, is like, look, if someone gave their son up for you, what wouldn't you do for them? Right. What if someone, if you were, about to die, if you were about to be, killed or whatever, and someone's like, hey, look, I'm going to give my own child to save you, what wouldn't you do that for that person? It doesn't matter what life was thrown at me. I'd just be incredibly indebted to them. Yeah. Wow. And it's the exact same thing with God. Like, God gave his son so that we can be saved, so that one day that we can be in eternity, to free us from the curse of sin, so that we can live forever in him. Like, I don't understand why, if it was here on this earth, there wouldn't be anything that you wouldn't give up. And so why are we holding ourselves back from giving anything from God? Yeah, I mean, think about what he said. Peter said that he's granted to us all things that pertains to life. And what he also says is that he's granted to us his precious and very great promises. I mean, God's given us bountifulness of everything we could ever need in this lifetime. And I'm still amazed that even myself, I fall for the tricks and the trades of the evil one, thinking, oh, yeah, I need this, but I'm not going to wait for God. I'm going to go ahead and take care of it myself. Yeah. So I think that's why Peter's telling us it's important for a growing faith. That just because we gain faith doesn't mean that's where it stops. So, well, I hope our viewers can grab a hold of this text here and really meditate on it and work on it. I mean,
does our kids understand how hard and the efforts that it requires us to take or to have or to build faith?
I think they're starting to.
Okay.
I think this is the time where they are learning what it takes to hold faith, and one of the biggest things I want the youth to know and want the teens to know, want anyone to know, is like, look, you can't do it on your own. Like you need other people in your life. Like this youth group or this church, it's full of people that you can go through in any struggle that you're having in your life, and as hard as faith is on this earth, and inevitably it's going to be worth it. And so we need to build each other up, work towards that goal through love, through all of these works that we see in First Peter or Second Peter.
Yep. So I want to thank our viewers for sticking with us as we journeyed through this series on building our faith. And Peter says if it's always increasing, we're not going to be unfruitful. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the vital piece that each of us need to grab a hold of, that our faith has to be growing so that we are making more images of God out there by the way we live and the way we love. Mm-hmm. So thank you. On my behalf, I thank you for joining with us, and I pray that God will bless you in your journey as you walk with him through Jesus Christ, and go and do good things. I always like to say, if you can't find a good person, then be one.
Yep.
So long from Gene.
And we'll see you from Grady.